Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Satnam, welcome back to the channel. My name is Gobind, and this is your Channel for Grace. Thank you guys so much for being here live. Thank you, those of you that are watching the replay. Excited tonight to talk about the Virgo full moon that is happening on Tuesday from the lens of human design. So what I'm going to do is go over the gate that this moon is landing on and what that means for us. What is that activating for us collectively through the lens of human design, and how it's affecting us in our own personal charts. I love doing these readings. They really add a lot to the astrology video that I normally do for every new and full moon. So make sure that you guys check that out as well if you have not had a chance to do so. It is one of the previous videos. And I also want to welcome you to this broadcast. Thank you for being here, and make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you get notified of when I go live and when I upload videos. And also, I want to welcome you and invite you to the global community, the new Channel for Grace global community. Thank you, Kim, for posting that in the chat. She just posted the link in the chat, and it's also found in the description of this video. So the global community is a space where we can interact with each other, where I host free events. We just had our book circle, our very first meeting for our book circle today, like an hour ago, and it was amazing. We discussed and are going to continue to discuss our first book, which is The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. It's a very profound book, yet also very simple at the same time. But we had an awesome time discussing this, and it's really fun to read books in groups, and you get to understand them better and understand other people's perspectives and all of that. So really, really exciting. I also have a astrology guide, a moon astrology guide, which you can download. And when you do this, that guide will tell you what your psychic gifts are based off of your moon sign. It also enters you into my email list, and I send out a weekly moon magic report through that email list, where you can actually get the horoscope for the week. It's every Wednesday morning that goes out, and people love receiving that. So there's a lot of exciting things that are going on the channel. Before I talk about them, I do want to say hi to Nelly, who's here in the chat, and Jeanette. Welcome in. Raessa is also here. Kim is also here. Sedona Horse Medicine. Thank you guys for being here. And those of you that are watching but not in the chat, say hi so I can say hi back. So the exciting things that are going on, for one, we have our full moon ceremony. This is a free event that's happening in the global community. And that's going to be Tuesday evening, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. The ceremony basically involves us gathering together and bringing in, connecting to, activating, basking in the energy of the full moon, celebrating it, and also doing ritual and ceremony to help us dive deeper into the message that the moon is bringing. I always do a tarot card reading for the collective when I have those ceremonies, and the ceremonies used to be held on YouTube, but now they're held in the global community. So make sure that you join us there to be able to watch the new and the full moons. So that's kind of the fun thing that's coming up next. I also have a special workshop that is happening in the Starseed membership, also another space within our network. In that special workshop, which is only going to be available for the Starseed membership, we're going to go over what Saturn means, what happens when Saturn is in Pisces, which he's about to enter on this full moon, which adds a lot of powerful emphasis to it because the moon is lighting our way forward, and Saturn entering Pisces, which is a pretty long transit. It's going to be over 2 years of Saturn in Pisces happening both on a full moon, on a day of a full moon makes it even more potent. We're going to talk about what aspects Saturn is making to other planets, how long he's going to be in Pisces, what it means for us collectively and individually based off of where he is transiting, where he's hitting our natal charts. And we are also going to talk about Saturn transits that are being activated by Saturn. So Saturn conjunct Saturn, Saturn sextile Saturn, Saturn square Saturn, etc., and what that means for you in your own chart. Saturn is the biggest, I would say the biggest teacher, because it's kind of like he doesn't really have any mercy. There's no mercy with Saturn. So if you're going to learn something, it's going to be either you just surrender to it or you learn the hard way. And most of the times the resistance causes us to learn the hard way. So why not be fully aware of how this transit is going to affect you astrologically so that you know how to navigate through it for the next 2+ years. So kind of a big deal. And that is the first of many workshops that I will be having in the Starseed membership, which includes tons of video content every time planets ingress. When there's a special transit, I post little card reading prompts that you can do for yourself with your own card decks. We talk about the stargates that happen when planets and the moon align with the certain fixed stars, the starseed markings, and so much more. We celebrate the equinoxes and solstices together. It's a really beautiful community as well, and you get tons of content, plus now these special workshops. The next workshop after the Saturn workshop will be Pluto entering Aquarius, which is even bigger than Saturn in Pisces, but we're going to do that one next. And we are also going to do a workshop for the nodes entering Aries and Libra and talk about the significance of that. And from now on, these special workshops will be happening within the Starseed membership. So I also want to share that I have a special course that is coming up. I want to share an image on the screens. Give me 1 second to do that. But basically, this course is a 6-week course that I am running with my dear friend Jason from Ray of Light Tarot channel. He's an amazing intuitive and tarot card reader. I absolutely love getting readings from him. I actually just got a reading from him last night, which was really powerful. I asked him about my progressed full moon in Capricorn that's coming up to get messages through the tarot about it. And it was powerful. So anyways, this new course that I am running with him is called Liberating the Inner Child. And it really stems from our own personal journeys of understanding what the process of liberating the inner child is, what it means to liberate the inner child, what is the inner child. And it is an introductory course into diving deep into true healing. I feel like we often go into healing and spirituality with excitement because we see so many things that are, positive about spiritual awakenings and things like that. But when we get to the deep work, we tend to quit because it feels so hard and we didn't realize how challenging it was going to be. And the course will help guide you through understanding that process, knowing where to find the tools to help you move through that. What we will cover is talking about our core wound. What does that mean? What is that? Talking about Chiron in our chart. Chiron is known as the wounded healer. He teaches us about the deep insecurity that we have about ourselves. Where he is in your chart will show you what the theme is of healing for your whole life. We'll talk about the Gene Keys activation sequence, which is about discovering your genius and understanding what your life's work is, how you evolve, how you radiate light, and what is your purpose. Jason will teach us through the tarot about intuitive hits and do readings for us as well. We're going to do a shamanic journey to the inner child, asking for information that we need to know about our healing journey. And in the very end, we're going to have this beautiful Akashic healing chamber, which is basically like a sound bath, healing energy work through the Akashic records. So singing bowls, music, vocals, drums, and much more, and original music. So it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful ending to open ourselves up to the journey that lies ahead. So if you're curious, if you want to know more, click the link below and join us. It is going to be amazing. There's also the Moon Goddess training that's going on right now that you can still sign up for. It's not too late. And I will be having a retreat in Sedona, May 18th through the 21st. It's called the Moon Goddess Retreat. If you want to join us for that, please do. All the details are below. So let us dive into this topic of today, which is the full moon in Virgo through the lens of human design. Jeanette says she also got a reading from Jason. A lot of valuable insights. Yes. So what are the things that we look at when we do a human design transit reading? The first thing is that we look at what gate we're interested in seeing. And so we want to know where the full moon is happening. And the full moon is actually happening at this gate, which is the 64th gate. And it's actually in the head center. It's called the head center in human design, also called the crown center as well. It is where basically we sort of receive a lot of information. It is where, in human design terms, the incoming neutrino stream, which is basically like downloads from the Akashic, filters through our personality crystal to activate our mind and create the miracle of awareness. So it's where our consciousness is found. It's the seat of the passenger, who we think we are, and thus the center of our conscious personality. It makes it one of the most vulnerable centers for the not self. In human design, the not self means basically the negative ego, the part of ourselves that thinks it knows, but it really doesn't, right? So that's the danger of trying to maneuver your life through the lens of your mind and your thoughts, because the truth is that's not the aspect of us that actually rules our lives. And when I say rules our lives, means knows where it's going and has a direction and will guide us there intuitively and knowingly. So it's very important to not get lost in the not self. And getting lost in the not self has to do with, we were just talking about this in the book circle, with the conditioning that we receive from where we're little all the way up to when we are, adults and we integrate, but not in a good way. We internalize in a negative way all these belief systems that are not who we are. And so the conscious mind is the most vulnerable part of who we are. It's the most open to outside conditioning. It does not have certainty over the material plane. So it will grab whatever it can from its environment in order to try and stimulate certainty. And this is why we can never trust the mind as a decision-making authority. That's really, really important. By the way, I wanted to give credit to Dylan, who is my human design teacher. I took his course. I'm going to be taking his certification this year, so to get fully certified in human design. But I just took his beginner course, I would say, although I wouldn't call it beginner information. Human design can be very complex, but I want to give him credit because I read a lot from the notes and the handouts that I got from him in the class. So highly recommend him as a teacher. So this center, the head center, translates the stream of neutrinos into pressure. The pressure on the deep gray area of the brain to fire its synapses and create streams of consciousness. This triggers the rabbit hole effect. The rabbit hole effect, which takes us deep into the unknown and which has us seeking truth, sometimes to the point of distraction. Seeking certainty, seeking truth, seeking to be free of the pressure of not knowing, because the truth is that we don't know. But we want to know so bad that we go searching, not realizing that the beauty and the power of who we are is in the not knowing. It's in the just being, in the essence and the presence and the acceptance of the not knowing. In its more mundane role, the crown or the head center is where we receive the pressure to form concepts, to find answers, and to figure things out in the ajna, which is basically the mind. The mental pressure we experience here can cause us to perpetually be chasing the white rabbit in life, trying to achieve certainty that isn't quite what it seems, rather than get lost in the elusive nature of life's big questions, which can be some of our biggest distractions from what really matters, which is the present moment. It's important for us to learn to enjoy the mystery, like I was just talking about. So the journey to discovery can then become one of serendipity and surprise instead of maddening pressure to get to the bottom of things. The crown isn't necessarily a complex center, but it can be insidiously distracting. It lies just beyond the view of our conscious mind and can manifest as an irritating itch to know more, just a little more, just one more tarot card, etc., right? Like we sometimes get lost in that quest to know more. And actually, Matthias talks about this too, in that to study, to try to go and find more information isn't really being conscious. Wow, it's so crazy how the synchronicities happen. Matthias talks about how to be conscious really means to go on the hero's journey, which means you launch yourself into life. You go on an adventure, you start to experience life, and as you experience life, that is where the wisdom comes. It's not from sitting there and studying in a book because you want to know more information. That can always help. And sometimes that's the opening the door to the real true wisdom that lives already within us, because we are the universe and the universe has all the answers, right? Instead of being within ourselves and fully present, we get lost in that space. And so to be conscious isn't really to like study concepts and be smart about stuff and know a lot of information. To be conscious is to live fully presently in the journey of your soul, in the journey of your life, in your hero's journey. It's actually pretty powerful. So this is the center that this full moon is happening in. And what's interesting is that both the sun On a full moon, the sun and the moon are opposing each other. And it just so happens that the two gates that are opposing each other are the 64 and the 63, and they are both in the head center. So the pressure to think, the pressure to figure things out, doesn't that sound like Virgo? I mean, a little bit, right? It's like the pressure to be perfect in a way, the pressure to do it right. And it's kind of funny, but it does, to me, that really matches with that frequency of Virgo that this full moon is happening in. But the moon is on the 64th gate and the sun is on the 63rd gate. So what does this actually mean? The coolest thing about these two gates, the 63rd and the 64th, are that they are the last two gates. In the gene keys, we would say they are the last two gene keys. There's only 64 gene keys, so the 63rd and the 64th are at the very end of the journey. And that's significant because this full moon in Virgo is happening at the last gate or the last gene key, which means that it is an ending to a new beginning. And this full moon in Virgo is the last full moon of the year, astrologically, because Pisces is the last season. We're getting ready for the spring equinox. The winter season is about to end, the winter season. And as we begin to get ready for a new year, we have our new moon in Pisces, full moon in Virgo, and these energies, these frequencies are the ones that help us complete our journey through the wheel, through the astrological wheel, which is so cool because in the membership, we actually go through each of the seasons through the ancient Atlantean wisdom, guiding us through how the ancient Atlanteans looked at these seasons and worked with them in their lives, in their alchemical, priestess and priests classes and initiation paths. But this energy is the completion. But what happens when something gets completed? It literally just means that you're about to start something new. It's a completion, but at the same time, it's a new beginning. And that is exactly what these two gates are all about. The gate 64 or gate 63 is called in the I Ching, in the original I Ching, the 63rd is called before completion, right? So the 63rd is like right before we complete it. And the 64th is after completion, basically insinuating that it doesn't really end. The 64th gate, which is where the moon is at, is in every ending there is a beginning. This is actually about looking to the past. Gate 64 is the mental pressure for the abstract process. It is pure fuel for thinking about things over and over to find a new way. That is so Virgo. A new perspective or a new insight. This can manifest as a lot of mental activity that goes nowhere at times, followed by sudden bursts of insight and clarity as the cyclical nature of the abstract process dominates. Then, as soon as we think we've reached a point of certainty, we dive into another mental journey where confusion predominates until we surface the truth in retrospect again. The 63rd gate, before completion. Doubt is the path to truth, looking to the future. So whereas the 63rd gate looks to the future, the 64th gate looks at the past. In the 63rd gate is the capstone of the logical process that we began in the pulse of the 52nd gate in the root. As such, it is a pressure on the mind to study the patterns, the equations, the algorithms, etc. of the Maya to find shareable, repeatable solutions that can bring ease and clarity to the mental plane. Ironically, the initial pressure is felt as a powerful doubt and uncertainty that is the energy that drives us on vision quests that will quench our thirst for certainty. I mean, you can see how this full moon is really happening at the space where it's about processing thoughts, receiving information, the pressure to figure things out. You know, we're going to feel pressured to like figure it out. And at the same time, we're going to be hopefully reminded that you don't have to figure it out, right? Is that, well, I'm reading from my notes, but I guess it could be wrong in these notes. But I think you're probably right. That the 63rd is actually after completion and the 64 is before completion. I think you're right. It's okay. These notes could be wrong. But anyways, that is really the power of this energy that we are finding here with this full moon at the head center. It is a pressure, and we're going to feel this full moon as a pressure to figure things out. The focus to me personally is the 64th gate. It's so funny because these two gates are basically my radiance sphere in my gene keys. The 63rd gate is my radiance sphere in my gene keys, and the 64th gate is my purpose sphere in my gene keys. And in terms of the gene keys, the 63rd gene key moves from the shadow of doubt to the gift of inquiry to the city of truth. So you go from doubt to truth. And the 64th gene key goes from the shadow of confusion to the gift of imagination to the city of illumination. So you can see if you are in the shadow frequency of both of these gates, you're going to be in doubt and in confusion. However, from those two places, like those two things, like I just mentioned, are the things that actually drive and push us forward, right? When you doubt, you're not just going to sit there and doubt. Like you're going to go try to figure out, right? What's the truth about this, right? At least I know I do that all the time, right? I always want to know the truth about things. And when you let your confusion guide you to understanding things and you actually surrender to the truth that is always here in the present moment, you liberate yourself and your imagination is awakened and you reach that state of illumination, which Matthias talks about is the 7th dimension. Illumination happens when we realize that basically, the truth that this is talking about, we realize that we are both the observer and the observed. We are both the one creating our reality and watching it, and if we are the ones creating our reality, then we know, how does that come about? How do we create realities? And it's interesting because this has to do with the 7 laws of the universe. The one law being the law of mentalism, which states that everything is mind, the all is mind. And because we have this consciousness, this mind, this ability to consciously perceive things and think thoughts, that we are the embodiment, a tiny fractal of the consciousness of the cosmic mind, which is obviously the mind of, some of us call it God, some of us call it source energy, some of us call it goddess. It doesn't matter. We're all talking about the same thing. We just have to be open to realize the truth about it. And truth, we were talking about today in the book circle, is something that is undoubtedly there. Like real truth brings illumination. Real truth brings silence, not a busy mind. Real truth silences us. And that's the key, is that let go of the pressure to figure things out. let your mind go silent. And what can you find in the silence? Can you find the truth in the silence? You will notice that when you do that, you literally illuminate yourself to who you truly are and what you are doing here. I mean, all of these things are the power of this full moon in Virgo that is happening on Tuesday. Let's talk a little bit about the circuit that is connected to this. Hello, Mama. Oh, welcome in. And hi to everyone that came in as well. I do want to say hi. Lucida, Neutrino Radio, Ariel, Raven, Dan. Welcome in. Thank you guys for being here. Damara. Yes. Thank you. So the circuit, let's talk about the circuit that this 64th gate actually activates. There's two circuits actually, but I want to focus on the one that the moon is activating because that's where we want to focus our energy on a full moon. So the circuit that this moon is activating is called the sensing circuit. It has to do with sharing. It has to do with experiencing things and then reflecting on the experience in order to learn. It's about discovery. It's about revelations that come at the end of experiences upon reflection and not necessarily in the moment. It's about learning from the past, teaching us about patience, right? It teaches us, this circuit is about knowing and understanding that clarity comes over time. And we discover things when we sort of make mistakes in a way, when we experience life, when we go through life, and then we look back on it. That's how we gain wisdom. This is also a circuit that has to do with the desire for change, restlessness, and boredom. If there is no change, if we feel that change is not happening. And it's important to know if you have a lot of sensing circuit, collective circuitry in your human design, that you cannot make sense out of life while it's happening. We all need to remember right now that we are not going to be able to make sense out of life while it's happening. We're only going to be able to make sense of it, right? To understand it after it has passed. So the official name of the 64th gate is the gate of confusion. And here we have the affirmation. It's actually before completion. Before completion. No, that's correct. Okay, so here we go. Quick reference theme. People who are under constant mental pressure to make sense out of past issues or events. What does that tell me? That for this full moon, we are going to feel the pressure to make sense of what has been happening in our lives. We are going to feel the pressure to look back and understand what is going on, what has happened. These people have to accept confusion as part of their lives. They are visual in an abstract way. These are minds flooded by images and memories from the past. Their goal is to accept the mental pressure and wait until the images assume some kind of order. At the mental level, these people are always trying to bring resolution to their experiences. And I can speak from experience because these gates are so present in my own chart that they are actually subconscious energies for me, though. I will say that. They are design energies. It's my design sun and my design earth. And so this is something that I'm not necessarily fully conscious of, but it's like a really deep subconscious part of me that is always there. And I have seen it and felt it kind of come out and show up in my life in many, many times. And trying to make sense of things is something that I always, always, always try to do. So the 64th gate is always looking towards the 47th gate, which helps it to process the flooding of images. Otherwise, it's just a confused mass of unedited rushes. And unfortunately, does anyone have the 47th gate activated in their human design chart? Anybody want to share in the chat if you have the 47th and maybe what planet is on it? But if you have the 47 and you don't have the 64, what's going to happen is this full moon is going to complete that channel. And the 47th gate is known as the gate of realization, right? So it's the pressure, it's the confusion, the pressure to figure it out. And then the 47, which leads into the 47, which is realization. Also has the original I Ching description or name of oppression. So for the 47th energy, and the only reason I want to read this is because for those of you that actually, you have it in your cross. Okay. So for those of you that have it and this channel is being defined by this full moon, then you're going to feel the whole channel, which I'll talk about in a second. Sakila says, I do. Neutrino Radio says I don't know if he or she, for some reason I'm thinking he, but you have it in your personality Earth. Ooh, interesting. Very interesting. Oh, yes. Raven says 47 is my design sun. Okay. So you have it in your sphere of radiance. Okay. So the gate of realization, oppression, people that always look to understand life by relating it to their own personal experience. These people are under huge pressure to conceptualize past experience. They lay out all the images in their minds, trying to piece them together like an artist assembling a collage. If they are patient, they can create inspiration out of confusion. Ultimately, well, a lot of people have the 47. Ultimately, these people are much better at resolving other people's past experiences rather than their own. Without the 64, they are always waiting for a flash of inspiration that brings the mental pressure to a temporary end. Wow. So this full moon, if you have the 47 and not the 64, is going to bring you that flash of inspiration that brings the mental pressure to a temporary end. That's really, really powerful. And the channel itself is called the channel of abstraction, a design of mental activity mixed with clarity. Again, part of the sensing circuit. It's also a projected channel, which means sometimes you just need to wait for the invitation. Sometimes you got to wait for the invitation, which gives you the feeling that you're always sitting there. But trust me, if you wait for the invitation to kind of share your thoughts, then you will actually feel like the door opens for you to do that. So the channel, your mind can either be very, this is for those of you that will have this channel complete by this full moon. Your mind can either be very inspiring for others or very confusing for you. The trick is to not only use your mind to resolve issues that do not concern you directly. So the trick is to only use your mind to resolve issues that do not concern you directly. Interesting. The whole channel, this is what you're going to feel. These people are here to create something new out of something old. They bring abstract thought into the world through the arts, philosophy, history, and culture. They reshape the past in different ways, for example, cultural revolutions. The confusion these people experience at the mental level forces them to process the past in new and creative ways. So Satnam to understanding our past experiences, right, on this full moon. They need to accept confusion as part of their mental process. And if they're able to do so, they will always discover that things become clear in their own time. That's beautiful. These kinds of abstract minds cannot solve their own problems, but are good at telling stories and recreating experiences that will inspire others. I kind of feel that too, even with just the 64 activated in my own chart. So this is a little bit, it's a little bit crazy, but that is the energy that is activating this full moon. I want to talk about something else, and it's right there. The 4521. I'm going to pull that up real quick. But this is the only actual channel on this day of this full moon in Virgo that is complete, which means what? We will all feel the influence of this channel. For those of us that don't have it defined at all, it's going to be very obvious. For those of us that have it defined, it may be more subtle because it's an energy that we are a little bit more familiar with. But hello, Sunny, welcome in. Let's go into what this channel is all about to see how are we going to really feel what's the influence of this energy for us. So we're talking here about the throat center and the ego center, which has to do the throat in human design. It has to do with manifesting, with basically, your word, what you say and how you express yourself, like shows your truth. And whatever voice is coming through are the gates and the channels that are connecting to your throat. So it's about like knowing that when you speak, you are speaking from a certain voice, and that voice is determined by the gates and the channels that are connected to the throat. So if you, for example, have an undefined throat center, this moon is going to define your throat center. If you have an undefined ego center, this full moon is going to define your ego center, meaning you're going to feel like you have a defined ego. I, in my own chart, have an undefined ego, and I look forward to the times when it's defined. Let's just say that. The ego center is about us being able to like feel, in my own words, right? It's being able to, in a sense, have direction, but not necessarily direction, because that's more like G-center stuff. I mean the kind of direction that like you are able to navigate and move forward towards because you know where you're going and you know where you want to go. And you have something to prove to yourself or to others. Like you have the willpower to like go do stuff. I don't have anything to prove, I just do what I do. I'm a 2-4. So I just do what I do. I just like dance through life, as the Gene Keys say. I am the dancer and I just flow. I'm a mental projector. So my only defined centers are the throat and the ajna. And so I just kind of flow through life, and I'm just here to share my thoughts, share my insights, like share what I see. That's literally my purpose in life, which of course I'm in the right career, because all of this stuff is what I love to do. But when the ego center gets defined, we feel that sense of willpower turn the F on, right? I'm always psyched when my ego is defined. Yeah, literally. So this is the voice. This is the voice for me personally that will be speaking through during this time. And it's an interesting one. I will tell you that this channel is called the money line. But it's made up of the 21st gate and the 45th gate. And they are being activated by, right there, Mars and Jupiter. Mars is on the 45th and Jupiter is on the 21st. So this is why I never stop talking, because I'm a mental projector. It's just what I do. One time somebody asked me, why do you always have to talk about everything like so much, like over and over again? Just keep talking about it. Like, I'm tired. I don't want to talk about it anymore. And I'm like, when I had no idea and had no like knowledge or awareness that I was a mental projector, I didn't know, I felt like there was something wrong with me. But that I don't have authority, right? So like my authority is talk about it, soundboard what I'm thinking with others, and then, figure things out as I hear myself talk about it, which I can totally understand why somebody would get so frustrated with me because of that. At the same time, though, like I said, I'm in the right career because I can talk and talk and talk nonstop for hours. All right, here we go. The 21st gate, the gate of the hunter or the gate of the huntress, biting through. Wow. People who must be materially independent and who thrive when given control. Ooh. These people, we're all going to have this defined. These people have a need and a gift for being in control of the things in their life, especially money, food, territory, and lifestyle. This gate is best represented by the archetype of the managing director of a company. These are people who are at their best when they are in control of situations. They do not enjoy anyone else telling them what to do or how to do it. Unless they happen to be a manifester who informs first, these are not people who can successfully assume control unless they are first offered it. More than not, they try and take control of situations without being asked, which means that they meet fierce resistance from those they are seeking to control. Anybody have that 21st gate? I have a feeling I have it, but it's not a complete channel. For some reason, I'm like, this number just seems familiar, but I've seen it somewhere. The 21st needs I literally only have one defined channel. It's the 2343. So that's the one I'm like most familiar with. However, the 21st needs the patronage of the 45. The 45 represents the landowner, and the 21 simply wants to be in control of the land itself without the responsibility of owning it. Without the 45, the 21 has the authority over others but lacks the overseeing presence. Oh, there you go. Mama O has it. So does Kim. Of one who is not directly involved with managing people. My daughter is a mental projector and she talks so much and also can hear most of my thoughts. That's so sweet. All right. Now, the 21 connects with the 45, which is the gate of the gatherer. Whoa, like hunting and gathering. Gathering together. People who are here to oversee the future and wealth of the community. This gate is symbolized by the archetype of the monarch. This is the autocratic tribal leader who represents the voice of the community and gives the final seal of approval to any new law. These people are here to educate others in how to come together in more efficient ways for the benefit of the future health and wealth of the community. Their style of leadership is to govern in the traditional way simply by being at the top of the hierarchy. The 45 always needs a prime minister, the 21, to manage their kingdom, as they don't like to get their own hands dirty. These people love to have other people working for them, running their business, or helping to manage the family affairs. So, the money line. I want to mention a little side note. The reason why I'm saying this is the only defined channel for this full moon is because when we look at human design transits, we only look at the personality side. And on the personality side, this is the only channel that's defined. The money line, a design of a materialist. This is going to be activated for all of us. The ego circuit. Yours is a life where the material plane has to be embraced fully. You are here to make money through the power of your will. It is not natural for you to work for anyone but yourself. since you are uncomfortable with others controlling you in any way. These people are here to manifest the material plane. Ooh, I like that. They are here to lead and be in control. The only way they can become materially successful is by doing everything themselves. They are a one-man or one-woman show and do not work particularly well with others, as they like to do everything themselves. They are the most driven of the manifestors if there is no sacral or solar plexus to impose a strategy of waiting. As manifestors, their natural strategy is to inform people that they need to take control before taking it. Ooh. Okay, it's so funny because there's a sexuality keynote here that says the channel of have and have nots. And I'm like, sexuality keynote, what does that mean? And now I hear this, they have to inform people that they need to take control before taking it, is fucking hilarious to me. Okay. Because this is a very powerful ego manifesting channel, these people can be very ego-centered. You cannot change these people. When they talk, they naturally talk about themselves. Anybody have this channel defined? I'm interested now. If they are not clear about their strategy, they will meet a lot of resistance, criticism, and anger in others. This channel is generally more successful as an electromagnetic connection between two people when the 45 is the owner of the company and the 21 is the director who has control. However, spectacular fights can happen if the 45 tries to control the 21 or if the 21 tries to behave like the owner. Oh, so like I said, that one is a very interesting energy, but it is going to be defined on this full moon. So in a sense, having the money line activated can mean a lot of things. It can mean that, during this time, and I know it's a short period of time because the moon moves so fast, right? But either way, I always like to say that the transits move in, get stronger, reach their climax, and then slowly start to wane. Just like the moon waxes and wanes, so do the transits. And so you'll feel it coming into that climax till it gets to that point, and then you feel it, the energy dissipating. So, and if you're both, you do that to yourself. I'm just kidding. But it's kind of crazy. So I feel like, to me, what I'm receiving intuitively is, for how I feel like I'm going to feel with this channel defined is, for one, the fact that I'll feel like I have willpower is like, I'm all for that. The fact that this has to do with like the material world and like actually manifesting things, I'm all for that, And so we're all going to have this defined for the full moon, whether you have these two defined or not, because it's like Jupiter and Mars are, and they might already be on this, because those are planets that move a lot slower. Like I haven't looked into exactly when this channel gets defined and when it goes undefined, but I do know that because Jupiter moves slow and Mars moves slow, that this is an energy that's probably already present. That's my intuition, but definitely on this full moon, it will be like fully present. So in terms of like what you want to do, how you want to materialize things, like bring things into reality, the power, this is a really powerful like channel, when we have it defined, it means that we can make money, like we can be successful, we can be leaders, we can step into leadership. We just need to be careful of like how we're expressing the energy, right? Like this was saying, like we can be both, the one that is the owner of something, but then understand that like, in a sense, you can't really do both. And I think that's why people that have this channel defined, this is just coming to me right now, that's why they like to do everything themselves. Because like that's why they have a hard time working with other people, because they both feel like the owner and the one in charge at the same time. Interesting. That's very interesting. Anyways, Is Venus and Jupiter still bright in the sky? Yes. They're getting a little further apart, but yes, for sure. I think this is exciting. I like that this is part of this moon, also because this moon is happening in the sign of Virgo, and Virgo is an earth sign, and the element of earth and the energy of Virgo activates our ability to manifest things in the three-dimensional world, which is the world that we live in. So in summary, in conclusion, this full moon in Virgo is activating our head center in the 64th gate, as well as the 63rd with the sun opposing it, bringing in the pressure to make sense of things, bringing the pressure to understand. So you're lucky if you have the 47 or the 4, you know what I mean? Because you'll be able to complete the understanding, the insight. You'll be able to receive the insight during this full moon. If not, you may feel a little bit like, lost in the rabbit hole and unable to really make sense of it. So I want you guys to look in your chart if you have the 47 or the 4, because that'll be the key to telling you whether you're going to feel the resolution of the pressure of the mind, or whether you're just kind of go through this full moon like, I can't figure this out. I'm confused. I'm not sure. I'm doubting myself, or I'm doubting what I'm receiving. I don't know. Blah, 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 blah. I'm going down the rabbit hole. I can't stop thinking. It's on and on and on and on and on and on and on, etc., etc. Very Virgo, like I can't stop the mind. I can't stop the mind because I'm like trying to right? It's like this really intense frequency of like overthinking, literally overthinking. So that's about that. So enjoy the energy, Can you find ways to come drop into the truth and receive the illumination? Let go of the constant rat race in your head to try to figure things out, and drop into the moment and feel the silence take over your body, mind, spirit, so that you can literally have an embodied experience of the truth and really truly understand what you have experienced and what is about to come alive in you. What new journey is about to unfold for you when Aries season comes about. So thank you. That was a really, really fun reading for me to do. I do these readings every new and full moon and talk about the energies, both astrologically in the astrology reading and through the lens of human design in this type of reading. So hopefully that brought you some insight. Thank you so much for hanging out. Please check out all the links below and go join our global community so that you can celebrate with us and party with us, because we straight up party in Club Jai at these full moon ceremonies and new moon ceremonies. We're going to be partying it up on Tuesday night in the global community. You don't want to miss it. And if you want to join our Saturn and Pisces workshop, then please do so as well. Everything is found in the global community. The link is below. Thank you so much. Love you guys. And I hope you have a beautiful full moon in Virgo and a last full moon of this year. Sat Nam.